Thank you.
So this next question is going to be directed towards Wyatt and Matt. You guys have already touched on this issue a little bit, but I guess I'm looking for a little more depth with this one. St. Lawrence has felt a housing crunch for a number of years, indicative of the baby boomers' offspring entering the university. As the surge of college-age hopefuls dwindles in the coming years, we should return to normal housing expectations. That being said, we're also planning on increasing our size by 40 students per year over the next 4 years. How do we accommodate these last years of a housing crunch and an increase in the number of students? And I'm looking for specificity on this one. We'll start off with Matt.
Like I said previously, the housing is important to me, and I feel like it's important to a lot of the student body as well. I feel like in order to accommodate the last couple of years of this housing crunch, I feel like one of the main things would be just to encourage students to go abroad. Because yes, it might be hard to get into certain programs, but that's the easiest way in order to facilitate for the 40 more freshmen that are going to be incoming next year. And I feel like with encouraging students to go abroad, another aspect would be maybe expanding housing. It's not saying building a new residence hall, but maybe just adding a wing, or if that's financially reasonable, it's something that is tough because, like I said before, housing and the people you live with is where you build your college experience. I feel like with the increase of 40 students, it's going to be tough. I'm not going to lie, it's going to be tough for the next little bit, but in order to make the situation as easy as possible, I feel like to encourage maybe off-campus living, along with encouraging students to go abroad and explore, like the new New York City program that's going to be enlisted next spring 2012, and for the following falls after that. And I feel like just encouraging students to go to New York City, go to Washington, go to London, go to Africa, just explore the world, because that's part of your college experience, is exploring things just not only on the St. Lawrence campus, but just throughout the country and throughout the world as well. So I feel like those are the main things, would just be encourage students to go abroad, maybe if possible the expansion of some residence halls, and just encourage some students, maybe even seniors, just off-campus living. Thank you.
This is a really crucial question, I think. I know probably most of you haven't flipped through the recession response report, but the 40 incoming students, we're adding 40 incoming students to each class subsequently for, well, it's going to create a lot of extra students, right? And I think that where they live and the way that they interact with this campus is going to be an issue that we're going to be dealing with probably for decades to come. But I see an opportunity here for a creative solution. Everybody here, I think, has mentioned the expansion of Greek life. We need to reverse or modify recommendation 26, which is the current obstacle to Greek expansion. And we need to embrace Greek organizations, not just for the social utility they bring to our campus, but if we could get 4 or 5 houses to colonize with residence options off campus, similar to the way that the sororities are now, that would easily accommodate the influx of students we'd be dealing with. It's a creative solution to a problem, to 2 problems really. And I think that this is a sort of presentation of ideas that I mentioned earlier, where we can meet student objectives and meet the objectives of the board simultaneously. There's no way that that's a golden bullet. We can't solve this problem with one simple fix. Increasing the study abroad options is, of course, that's a great way. We have an incredible study abroad office already, so I think that expanding that is really a no-brainer. And I think that repurposing buildings on campus, such as what happened at the Art Annex, I think that that was a great example of finding something on campus that we had and maximizing its utility. So I guess moving forward, we have to take a broader look, but also a creative look at what we have available to us and how we can solve upcoming problems like housing. Thank you.
So this next question is going to be towards Tucker and Igor. Again, the responsibilities of the student delegate vary from student liaison and meetings to the communication bridge between students and the board. Delegates in years past have expressed the difficulty in maintaining a relationship with both students and the trust of the trustees. How do you plan on being proactive in listening to the desires of the students while realistically engaging the topics with the board? Let's start with Igor.
I think that it takes a certain skill level to successfully balance or act between the 2 sides, the students and the trustees. Essentially, as my primary function would be, and if I get this position, I would try to best to represent the student body the best I can and to serve their best interests. In case this is not possible, I would always look for the second best alternative. You know, sometimes we have to acknowledge that sometimes it's unrealistic to always expect the student body's voice to be not only heard, but to be accepted and to sort of, you know, to be answered in several actions. But I think that the most important way to handle this position would be, while maintaining a close relationship with the Board of Trustees, also representing the students' interests in the best possible manners.
I think that it'll come naturally. I think that the board's interest is in the students, and I think that, and also, I mean, a number of them also went to St. Lawrence, so they understand the various issues that are being brought up by various committees, as well as the general concerns of students. I think that as far as being able to relay that to them, it is also fairly simple, and that they are receptive. I mean, they've approved of the position, the delegate position, and are eager to hear what students are feeling. So I think as far as being able to accomplish that in the best manner, that's being able to take everything that the student delegate is exposed to, whether that's through the committee meetings as well as just their general perspective, and being able to put that into a concise and clear manner that would be easily approachable by the Board of Trustees. And I think in doing that, it's being realistic. It's being able to take what the students want, but also look at it from a board's perspective and understanding what exactly, especially taking the various aspects of financial responsibility, etc., and being able to come together into a consensus of what might actually be able to be done.
Yeah. All right, the next question is for Wyatt and Matt. It is important to understand that the position of the student delegate is a day-to-day responsibility. There will be meetings that will conflict with other obligations that you have scheduled weeks in advance. For example, meetings will inevitably be scheduled at the same time as sporting events that you're both part of. How do you prioritize these responsibilities if elected?
Well, Matt, I'll take it. I'll go.
Oh, sure.
Well, first of all, I don't ski race that much. Coach never starts me. But I've been involved in Thelmo every semester I've been here. I've been involved in ACE in one way or another every semester I've been here. I was my class president for a year. I at least trained with the ski team. And I'm pursuing a double major. I feel confident. I made Dean's List all but one semester, and I was recently named a faculty scholar. So I like to think I have my life somewhat together, and I can operate under significant time constraints. But that's probably the most important skill I've learned here is how to do that, how to manage time constraints. You know, Dollar Beers is only an hour long. I get it all in. But the question of time management is very serious, and it's one that I asked myself when I was running for president unsuccessfully. And it's a question that I obviously asked myself again before running for this. And I'm passionate about this position. As I mentioned, I think that we are at a really crucial moment in St. Lawrence history, and I think that I'm capable of at least helping to guide the student desires and student needs while we navigate through this time. It's an awesome opportunity to work on the Buildings and Grounds Committee, the University Priorities and Planning Committee, and of course work with the Board of Trustees. And these are all significant demands on my time, but I think that understanding the responsibility and coming into it with a real passion for affecting positive change is something that I would bring to the job. I think I have the skill set to excel at this as student delegate, and I hope I get the opportunity. Thank you.
Just personally, throughout my life, I've always been busy. I've just been in various sports teams with work, or just various meetings, whether it's in high school or throughout my career so far at St. Lawrence. So I feel like the time management skills it isn't really a worry for me, because I feel like, as I said in my platform, as long as I won't run for something unless I know I can fully dedicate myself to it, because I feel like, especially with this position, the student delegate, if I say, yeah, I'm going to be there, then all of a sudden I get the position.